Okay, in this video I just want to take a look at the Multi-Unit Developments Act of 2011. If you are buying an apartment or thinking about buying an apartment or indeed a house in a multi-unit development where there's an owner's management company and you're going to have service charges and so on, well then this video will be of interest to you, or should be of concern to you. So the Multi-Unit Developments Act of 2011 is the relevant piece of legislation, and it really covers the whole area of multi-unit developments. A development which has not less than 5 apartments would be a multi-unit development. The Act applies to housing estates also, which has an ownership management company taking responsibility for the common areas. So in any estate you're going to have common areas, for example footpaths, grass perhaps, common area or green areas. You're going to have roads, entrances, entrance gates, and so on. All of these common areas must be maintained and must be insured in many instances. For example, if you have a block of apartments with perhaps 6 or 8 apartments in a block, you're going to have one roof. So who maintains the roof? Who provides the insurance for the common areas? Perhaps the balconies, perhaps a lift, perhaps the entrance stairs, and so on. So there's going to be certain common areas, and you're going to need insurance, and you're going to need somebody to provide the service of repairing and maintaining these common areas. And as I say, in most estates then you're going to have the roads and footpaths and grass margins and curbs and street lighting and so on, until the estate is taken in charge by the local authority. And that can take a while, but until it does take place, well then the owner's management company is going to be responsible. So the ownership management company, an OMC, will be responsible for the common areas of the development once it is completed. It will look after the estate's services such as lighting, cutting green areas, landscaping, cleaning, waste management and insurance. It will generally appoint a managing agent. Each property owner is a member of the ownership management company and has one vote. Members' meetings must be held every year to discuss accounts, service charge for the coming year, and other matters which arise, such as a sinking fund for repairs. You don't want a catastrophic lightning strike, for example, to cause serious damage to the roof of an apartment block and then be completely bereft of any funds to repair the roof. An ownership management company can draw up house rules as well for the general good of everybody in the estate or in the apartment block. And as I say, every property owner, has one vote. The four main areas then covered in the MUD Act of 2011. One is that the transfer of ownership of the common areas by the developer to the ownership management company should have taken place by 30th of September 2011. Now this hasn't happened in all instances, not by a long shot, but that's what the legislation provided for, and was the purpose that the developer would transfer the common areas which the developer would have owned along with the apartments that he originally developed. He would also clearly have owned the land on the common areas. This was to be transferred then to the ownership management company, so that the owners then of the apartments could organise their own affairs and maintain it and spend money, gather up service charges and spend it as how they saw fit. The second main area is the obligations placed on the developer for the completion of the development stage of the estate and the extinguishment of the developer's beneficial interest in the land. This was set out clearly in the MUD Act, or is set out clearly. Number 3, there's new mechanisms for the resolution of disputes and allows the ownership management company to represent the owners as a collective body in the circuit court. Up to this act, an individual owner would have had to go to the circuit court or go to court in order to try to vindicate any rights that were infringed. But now the ownership management company can do so on behalf of all of the owners. And number 4, new regulations for service charges, sinking funds, governance and reporting, which impose greater added responsibilities on the board of directors of the ownership management company. So these regulations and these obligations are set out in the MUD Act of 2011. Each property owner must pay service charges and can be pursued through the courts as a straightforward debt collection matter by the ownership management company. A sinking fund, all multi-unit developments, all MUD developments must maintain a sinking fund for refurbishment, maintenance of a non-recurring nature and improvement. This would be, for example, repairing lifts, or not so much repairing lifts, but for catastrophic damage done to the building, for example, like a roof being struck by lightning or perhaps a fire or something of that nature. Sinking fund money must be kept separate from service charge money. So service charge money would be used for maintenance of grass areas, grass curbs and cutting grass, refuse collection, cleaning of the building, cleaning of common areas. So that's day-to-day regular stuff. Sinking fund money is separate. It's a fund set aside for major refurbishment. The advantages then for property owners: improved protection and dispute resolution. It transfers, the MUD Act obliges transfer of control of the development from the developer to the ownership management company. Equal voting rights for each property owner, and there's a compulsory transfer of the common areas from the developer. Then there's annual reporting about service charges and sinking funds and how they are calculated. And it gives the owners a real say, the property owners, the people living in the properties as well, a real say in the running of the development by the property owners. In practice, however, some management companies are badly run or have poor managing agents, and you do hear some pretty bad stories about ownership management companies and management companies or agents not really discharging their duties as they should. And sometimes then it's a chicken and egg situation where the owners then retain service charges, won't pay, and the whole thing becomes worse. So, that's something that you need to look out for when you're buying a property, buying an apartment, and perhaps make inquiries about the ownership management company and whether the services are being provided and so on. My name is Terry Gorry. I'm a solicitor in Enfield. If you find this video useful, you might please give it a thumbs up down below, and you might be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos on YouTube dealing with all aspects of property in Ireland, and indeed all aspects of different types of law in Ireland, including employment, small business, conveyancing, family law, road traffic and so on. Thanks for watching.